What is up, guys? Welcome back to an episode of the F122 My Team Kuruma. We are here for episode number 16 today for the Italian Grand Prix in Season 1. If you guys did miss the previous episode at the Dutch Grand Prix a long time ago, definitely be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. It's going to take you quite a while to find it, though. It's been quite a while since we have uploaded these videos, but we are back then in the grind and hoping to finish off the season strong. Not a lot of time between the Dutch and the Italian Grand Prix. Unfortunately, though, for this race, we were supposed to have an aerodynamic upgrade that failed to come on. That will come in time, though, for the Singapore Grand Prix. I was kind of hoping we could have that one for this Grand Prix, because if we had that one, then it would have been helpful in the areas such as, you know, Ascari, Parabolica, areas like those. But, can't get them all. Anyways, then, looking through the other upgrades, we do have 3,000 resource points, and we're going to spend a bit of it on durability, because why not? I mean, our durability has been okay, not great, but okay. But again, if it's there, we might as well do it. We're looking through the aerodynamic upgrades. We are going to purchase a drag reduction upgrade that should also come in time then for the Singapore Grand Prix then. And also looking at the minor weight redistribution there, or the tire blankets, which could both help with tire wear and with tire temperatures as well. Although tire temperatures haven't really been a huge factor for us this season. I mean, it's not like they've been really affecting our performance. But anyways, I'm looking through the upgrades then to see which potential facility upgrades we could potentially do for our team. There is the aerodynamic upgrade, which is already at Spec 1. The chassis is at Spec 1. Personnel is at Spec 1. Powertrain is at Spec 1. Durability, well, it's still at Spec 0. We don't really care about that too much. I'm potentially thinking about the powertrain and probably the fabrication one, because right now we can only do one powertrain upgrade at a time, which really is not ideal considering the fact that number one, our engine isn't necessarily the most powerful, and number two, our ERS is not great. So if we could balance those two, that'd be great. But we do get an engine power upgrade, which does come in time then for the Italian Grand Prix, which is perfect because that's what we need then for this powerful and fast circuit. Then we do have the chance to do another ERS system upgrade, which will come just in time then for the Japanese Grand Prix. So hopefully that will come in, and that will be a decent upgrade, because if we can harvest more ERS, that'd be great. It's pretty hard to harvest ERS in this car, but hey, you can't pick and choose here. It's time then for the Italian Grand Prix. We are going to. We did the probably hot lap, but I mean now that's just kind of routine-ish. But anyways, then this is quick practice. Then let's just get on straight through it. Trying to get all the practice programs done as quickly as we possibly can. Although without failures would be most ideal. This time around we do manage to get it, but we do have time for 25% success. Will this work? No, not surprised. I'm not surprised that didn't work. Alright then, well anyways, now let's move on to free practice 2 then. Let's quickly get these done as well, doing the fuel management program here, trying to get this done as quickly as possible then. To get through all of the resource points and trying to get as many development boosts as we potentially can, although the problem is we can't really get them if they keep failing. Like 3 times in a row. I don't know how that's happened. That's the first time that's happened. We finally managed to get it, but not after wasting like nearly, I'd say more than half of that session. But yeah, we have 2 minutes 19 seconds left. Not really ideal, if you ask me, because we still got to do the track acclimatization. I can't even speak. Holy. Anyways, then let's just get through that. The main thing we got to focus on is the resource points, and the discounts can come second. Mainly, I want the chassis discounts, because those are probably the ones that are more worth it rather than the powertrain or the durability. The durability is probably the last one on my list. Powertrain will probably be up there, but it is definitely chassis and aerodynamics. That one failed, so we have to try the 50% success, and that did not work, and I was very pissed off at that. I'm trying to look back and forth, trying to see which one is probably going to be the best one. Let's try this 50% success one. Will this one work? So that one worked at least. So we do get that one. We don't have time for that 50% success. We do have time then potentially for the 70%. Now we're debating between these two here. We're going to go with the fuel efficiency one. Please help this works. And that doesn't work. So yeah, not ideal. But yeah, we move on then. We do manage to get the full amount of resource points, which is good. Porsche putting another 225, pushing us to 2,453, which is good. But yeah, that wasn't very ideal. But now it's time then for the Italian Grand Prix qualifying. Let's see how we do in this race. I think we should have some decent pace. We're going to try something very interesting, which I will tell you guys in a second. But let's get on then to qualifying. Let's do this. Alrighty then, it's time for qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix, and the thing about this episode was, part of it was recorded before the sports livery updates. Part of it was recorded afterwards. But this one, of course, if you remember, in the sports livery updates, they had the tire allocation changed. And I forgot to change it beforehand. So now we only have 2 sets of soft tires to deal with this session. We have a medium and a hard, because I completely forgot to. But we move on then. Let's get on to qualifying for our first lap around the Autodromo Nacional di Monza, or better known as the Temple of Speed, braking from the 100-meter board, literally, I would say 215 miles an hour to 50 to 60, which is quite nuts if you think about it. That was not the greatest first sequence of corners, but let's see if we can capitalize on that. Zhou Guan Yu, puts in the fastest lap then at this moment in time, quickly usurped by Lewis Hamilton as we make our way through the Della Loggia chicane, accidentally touching that inside softness curve. We don't want to do that because that's going to upset the balance of the car here. Doing our best to keep the car as planted as possible through Lesmos 1 and Lesmos 2, trying to keep it flowing as possible. We want to carry as much speed as you can through a lot of these corners because Monza is all about speed. I mean, literally half of this circuit is compromised of straights. We do manage to get a second purple sector, which is great. So maybe that shows some pace. Maybe that was just a bit of luck. I mean, there's not a lot of cars that are on track at the moment, so I bet that will be quickly usurped. But anyways, then making our way down towards the final corner here into Parabolica, down to 5th gear. The car, well, not really turning, is it? We do manage to get on the power, though not the greatest lines either. There's definitely a lot more time to be found as we make our way towards the line. It's going to put us P3, 7/10 behind Hamilton, and splitting the 2 Hasses there as we make our way back to the garage. And Teo Porcher, well, he's not that far ahead. He's just about 2-3 tenths ahead of us. Then Norris still has the fastest lap. Then it was quickly usurped by Charles Leclerc here. But we are down in P17. And the interesting thing I will say about our car is, and this is actually something I've noticed with a couple creators, is that we are, this time, just for fun, just to try it out, we are running 0-0 wings around Monza. So essentially, we are just essentially running with no front or rear wing, which, I don't know, that kind of doesn't make sense. But the great thing about 0-0 wings is that we will be literally a rocket ship on the straights. And that is saying a lot, considering the fact that, you know, with these F122 with their extreme, really top speed, this could be a good way to combat it and try to make some moves here. We do have to compromise a little bit in the corners, though, because in some of the corners, especially Lesmos, Ascar, and Parabolka, there is a bit of a lack of downforce there. But with the insane straight line speed we have, I mean, that is quickly countered just by the sheer power that we have of this car here. Anyways, let's just focus on our hot lap for now. We were making it through Lesmos 1. That was actually a pretty decent line through there, having a bit of the wheels on the grass as we try to extend the track as best as we can, nearly losing the back end there as we were on the gravel there for a little bit then. But as you can see up ahead, there is an Alpine Investment up and getting a nice slipstream here, making our way into the Ascar chicane here. Not the greatest line, I'll admit. The car wanting to understeer just towards the wall here, but somehow managing to keep it out of the wall. And we're getting a nice distance slipstream here down towards Parabolica. There's a decent amount of time to be found here. The qualifying session has ended here. We do manage to get a better line through there. Touch the grass a little bit. That's probably not ideal. Down to P20 there. Porcher is only a P18. Now he's pushed down to P19. Here we go across the line. Where's this going to put us then? Is this going to put us into Q2? I think this will. Yes, it will. Just about P14 across the line. So that's a good lap from us then as we now make our way back to the garage then. So we found a good amount of time in those sectors, and I think we did take advantage. Teo Porcher is up in P11, so that's some very good news then from our team. Then as out are the Aston Martins, the AlphaTauris, Nicholas Latifi is out along with the Haas there, Mick Schumacher then. But Alex Albon and the other Williams does make it through. But unfortunately, as we make it into Q2, we may or may not have a problem on our hands right now, as you can clearly see by the bottom of the screen.
Get ready to jump out if you get too hot in there. There's a problem with the cooling system, and it's going to take us a few minutes to correct it.
Well, luckily, it's not that long. It's about a minute and a half right now. But as you can see, the lack of the soft tires that we have is really pissing me off here, because now we've burned essentially both sets of soft tires. And you can see, if you saw that frame real quick, is that there's confirmation that we are running 0-0 wings. And I find it kind of interesting, not gonna lie. But anyways, what we're gonna do instead, we're just gonna skip it towards the end of qualifying, wait till the track is at its best, and then we will go for a quick flyer and then just hope that whatever run we got is good. Anyways, for Charrot, he's 15th at the moment. Albon, though, is up at 11, so that Williams actually has some pretty decent pace around this track, which is to be expected because the Williams is actually relatively quick in a straight line, so that's good. You have Bottas, Ocon, Joe as well in that drop zone along with me and Pocher. So let's see how this goes about them. Making our way down the long main straight, then into turn 1 here, into the Variante del Rettifilo, I think that's what it's called. We actually get a pretty decent run through there, using that curve to advantage to hook us into the corner, and now making our way through the Curva Grande, then is making our way towards the next chicane, and then Variante del Delarothia, man, I can't even say the names here. We're currently up by just under 1.5 tenths to Valtteri Bottas and the other Alfa Romeo in P12, although with that sequence of corners, I don't think we will finish to hold that time there. Into Lesmo's when we go, the car actually responded pretty nicely into that corner, extending the track as much as possible, now making our way into Lesmo's 2, then trying to keep the momentum as high as we possibly can here. DRS wide open as we now make our way towards the Ascari, and the car again feeling a little bit unsettling at times. The back end wanting to snap out, the understeer is kind of kicking in. We are still up though. Alcon's down in P12, Bottas is down to P13. We are just about 1/10 up there on Esteban Ocon, getting a slight snap of oversteer as we mounted that curve out of the Ascari, and now making our way towards Parabolica, then for one last time here, potentially in this qualifying session, down to 5th gear. Clip that apex. That was actually a much better line than I was expecting as we now make our way out of the final corner. Then is this going to be enough for Q3, or are we going to be knocked out in Q2? Across the line we go. Where's this going to put us then for tomorrow's grid? It's going to put us P12. So knocked out in Q2, but not by much though. Actually, P12 is not a bad lap considering the fact that we only did one run on a scrub set of soft tires, and we're not that far behind. We're just off of Alex Albon and about 2/10 away then from Fernando Alonso then. But yeah, there's not a lot left to do now. Now we move on to the race. I think there should be a good amount of grid penalties, so let's see what happens.
We're back in Italy once again for another round of the Formula One World Championship, and what a great race in store for us today here at the oldest circuit on the calendar, which hosted its first race all the way back in 1922. We're 12 miles northeast of Milan for today's Grand Prix at a Monza circuit where we could expect top speeds of around 215 miles per hour. 11 corners on this 3.6 mile track, with 7 of them coming in the form of chicanes, and with a good slipstream and DRS open, there should be plenty of opportunity for some passing here today. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Magnussen, Alex Albon, and Sainz. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Gallagher, Ocon, Verstappen, and Valtteri Bottas. Perez, Norris, Sebastian Vettel, and Hamilton. They've taken a grid penalty. Ricciardo, Stroll, Pierre Gasly, and Mick Schumacher. Teo Porcher. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Joe, Tsunoda, and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who is beside me in the commentary box today. Why don't we kick off by discussing Max Verstappen? That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Oh my lord, the grid penalties have just absolutely elevated us. We are up in P7 after starting technically started P12. Albon in the Williams is up to P5. Sainz is at P6. Verstappen's at P9. I mean, those are some big names that are behind us. Kevin Magnussen in the Haas is up in P4. So that's concerning considering our Constructors' Championship right now. Because remember, last episode, Mick Schumacher got a podium at the Dutch Grand Prix. So we need some good results to get right back into this race. And anyways, lining up towards our good spot, trying to get that purple parking spot. But we just go a bit too much over there.
Let's try and get a good launch as the race starts.
Let's just try our best to get off the line.
Okay,
anyways,
so that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient.
I think this is our best grid slot then. I think. I'm not 100% sure. But we're about to go racing. It's time for 5 red lights for the Italian Grand Prix. It's lights out. And we are green, green, green here in the Temple of Speed, home of Ferrari. And it's been an okay start from us. Not the greatest start. Bottas goes steaming up the inside. We're going to settle right back around the outside. There's a bit of space between Albon and Ocon there as we make our way into turns 1 and 2. Nice and easy, trying not to make too much contact. They're squeezing Ocon now as we make our way out of the chicane and towards turn 3 then. Up behind Albon as he's already lost his spot there to Carlos Sainz. Probably expected though as that Williams is not necessarily the greatest overall, but it's going to be a hard person to beat in a straight line. But we're going to dive down the inside. That's actually kind of unplanned there, but he breaks so early that I might as well take the chance there. Bit of snap of oversteer as we came out of that corner here. Now into Lesmo's 1 for the first time and down to Lesmo's 2 then as we get a look on here. Carlos Sainz trying to get past his compatriot Fernando Alonso, who by the way somehow gets overtaken by Kevin Magnussen. Kevin Magnussen is now running in the podium spots in P3. As we got a huge trade forming behind here as Norris tries to get past here. Valtteri Bottas as they make their way towards the variant of Scar chicane here. Bottas around the outside makes it work then. And that's just going to hold them up a ton there as we now make our way out of that sequence of corners then. As we look back up to the top in Sainz. Sainz trying to make a move around the outside and up Fernando Alonso. He does. He just swings by around the outside there. What confidence then from that Spaniard in the Ferrari. But could Alonso potentially come back here down this main straight? The Alpine is pretty quick in the straight line. Not saying the Ferrari is slow, but you can see that look at the speed difference that the Alpine has compared to the Ferrari. The Ferrari defends it on the inside. We'll come back to that in a second as Perez tries to get past Hamilton. Another quick car in a straight line is Sergio Perez and the Red Bulls there, but instead Hamilton turns to defense into attack there, and Verstappen now gets past Albon there, so it won't be long before Verstappen gets on the back of us there as Hamilton battles his former teammate Valtteri Bottas as they go through the curve at Grande there at top speed there as they try to make their way into the Del Roger chicane. We'll come back to that in a second then, but anyways, this is us versus Fernando Alonso. This is lap 2 then of 27, trying to get past the Spaniard here just like he was passed by Fernando Alonso. And you can, Fernando Alonso getting past it. Fernando Alonso doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense, eh? But Sainz, he's up there already a second ahead, so we need to make this move as quick as we can. Around the outside we go into the Ascari chicane, and we are up into P5 there. A beautiful job so far. That you can see Pocher is kind of getting stuck in the mess here, but Gasly locks up though, and now Pocher is up into P19. You can go chase after Nicholas Latifi. Then you can see Verstappen's already starting to close up to us. Albon is still doing a pretty decent job there in P8 then, holding off Ocon at the moment there, but let's see how much longer we can hold him off. Again, both the Alpine and the Williams are pretty quick in Australia. You can already see that Ocon's trying to come up there. But anyways, you got Sainz and Magnussen going wheel to wheel into the first 2 corners here. Can Sainz get past, or will Magnussen find his way? No, Magnussen goes straight round the outside. A good move then from the Danish driver then, as we look back to see Ocon has gotten past Albon, and Albon's just falling down like a stone. So unfortunately, that 1 lap qualifying pace that the Williams had is kind of disappearing over the race pace there, so you can clearly see us there, still in P5 there, as Sainz is still trying to get past that Kevin Magnussen, who's, I must say, is doing an incredible job here in P3 at the moment though, but I think it's going to be futile as Sainz is going to get DRS, and as they make their way down this straight here, Sainz powers past Kevin Magnussen as they make their way towards the Scar chicane, and Kevin Magnussen slots behind. There's probably no point fighting him, and let's look down to see, as we see Norris get past Bottas there finally. Schumacher tries to get in the mix as well. You've got Lance Stroll also in the mix. Ricciardo's in 16th as well. Stroll tried to make the move on Mick Schumacher, but I think he just backed out, as now Alonso and Verstappen are going wheel to wheel. This is actually really helpful for us because with their battling, that's slowing them down a little bit, but Verstappen does manage to get ahead of Alonso eventually then. As we look down, there's battles galore here as Ricciardo and Stroll are going wheel to wheel there. As we look back up to the top, we still got Kevin Magnussen and Sainz going wheel to wheel here, trying to settle this down. Can Sainz finally get the move done? I think he will. Verstappen and Alonso are still fighting here, and we can just catch on to see Albon locking up there. That's going to allow Hamilton to continue. Now Albon's already down to P10 there. Perez is up in P11, and I think that Williams is going to fall out of the points soon, as it's 3 wide there is potentially between Ricciardo, Stroll, and Vettel there. So a lot of battles going on, and still Verstappen and Alonso are fighting, and Alonso actually does manage to get back ahead then of Max Verstappen then, but I think that's going to be ending the next lap then. As we go on to the next lap, Verstappen with DRS powers his way past. And Ocon and Hamilton going wheel to wheel there, but Alonso, okay, never mind. I thought for a second he was going to actually keep it around the outside, but Verstappen gets the move done up into P6, and now he's free to chase after us then. But you still got Ocon and Hamilton deking it out for P8 on the grid so far. Then anyways, Carlos Sainz again has gone past Kevin Magnussen. We are firmly in the race then for P4 to try and overtake Kevin Magnussen here. And once Magnussen, we pass Magnussen, it's just a matter of keeping our nose clean. Gasly's down to 18th, Tsunoda's down to 20th. AlphaTauri has had a howler so far throughout the Italian Grand Prix. Although they are not really in contention right now with us against Haas, they are still mathematically in the fight, of course, so it's going to be important that we still manage to keep ahead of them. Anyways, and you can clearly see the power of 0-0 wings here. As you can see, we're even with this superior AI straight line speed, we are just completely grinding on them in the straights. We are still 1.9 seconds ahead of Verstappen. If we had, I guess, any sort of decent amount of wings, we would have probably gone overtaken by Verstappen. Now, of course, the helpful thing is that we have Magnussen ahead to tow us along here, but I'm getting a little bit impatient around here. We want to try to get past him as soon as we can, and maybe, hopefully, Magnussen will block Verstappen for us as we make our way down the main straight here. The power of 0-0 is at the straight line speed as we make our way into turn 1 and around the outside. Can we make this work here? His locks up a little bit though. Magnussen locks up a little bit. I think that was a bit of a front end wing end plate there flying about there. So I think there might be an early pit stop then for the Danish driver. You can see Mick Schumacher and Valtteri Bottas going at each other here. I think Schumacher got ahead of Bottas there. Ricciardo is not that far behind here. Anyways, on lap 6 then, Magnussen and Verstappen then. I think Magnussen is going to be pitting this lap in for that damage. You can already clearly see oh my goodness, the downforce loss that he has compared to Verstappen. They're going to go wheel to wheel then down this straight towards Parabolica. Then is this going to work then for Verstappen? Can he make this work around the outside? Yes, he can. As simple as that then. And will the Danish driver come into the pits? Yes, I think he will, unfortunately so. Yeah, his race has kind of gone in shambles, hasn't it? So, Haas are looking very strong up in P4 and 5, but unfortunately, now they're going to have to rely on Mick Schumacher to try and get some points then. As Ocon tries to get past Sergio Perez here, so, oh jeez, as the Red Bull locks up and nearly goes straight on there. But the Alpine and the Red Bull are two very fast cars in a straight line then, so, again, who knows, that could be just a huge squabble then for P8 then. Anyways, in lap 8 then of this Italian Grand Prix, and Verstappen, well, I mean, he just got the superior straight line speed, so we're going to let him by there into turn 1. And actually, what we're going to do instead is play the smarter game.
Come on, you can win that place back.
And try to see if we can actually stick with him using 0-0 wings to help make him drag us along, potentially closer to Carlos Sainz. Who knows? But again, you can see the power of 0-0 wings, that we are just flying down these straights. We're actually able to keep up with Verstappen. Yes, during the corners, we are losing a bit of speed there, but hey, if we can capitalize on the straights, that'd be huge for us then, as we are still roughly about 5 to 6 laps away from our pit window. But the interesting thing to note is, though, I did check with my engineer a couple laps ago about the weather update, and the interesting thing is that there is going to be some rain on the way then for this Italian Grand Prix. He said in about 15 to 20 minutes then, last I checked then, so is it worth to try to stretch this then and go on softs potentially then for the end? Or is it worth it to try to just go on the hards and just play safe and get nice track position? Anyways, this is us watching Lando Norris here as he's picking up a slipstream then from Esteban Ocon. Ocon will be rather trying to attack Sergio Perez and having to defend from Norris here as they make their way into Parabolica. Then it's going to be side by side there. Can Norris have the momentum around the outside? He just about gets it done, but they're still going to be side by side. Albon there is hanging around in P11. Ocon though with the DRS powers past them. Lando Norris, but Lando Norris I think still has the DRS as well, so it's going to be a drag race then down towards turn 1. Then Ocon later on the brakes, so he's on the outside for turn 2, but I think that should be the more flowing line then as they make their way out. 3 wide behind between Ricciardo, Bottas, and Schumacher. That's not going to end well for, I would say, all 3 of the guys. But Schumacher, though, with the power of the Haas, can he make it around the outside there? Bottas is going to try to fight it on the inside there as they make their way towards turn 4 then into the Della Roggia chicane. Then on the inside goes Mick Schumacher. And Schumacher is back up into P12 then for the time being. Lap 8 onto lap 9. There's a ton of battling here as Norris tries to get past then Esteban Ocon, then back up into P9, then try to chase after Sergio Perez, who is stuck behind right now Alonso and Hamilton, who are occupying P7 and P6 respectively. And the reason why I haven't really been looking up to the top is just because, well, Leclerc, Russell, Sainz have just kind of been in a world of his own as we continue to see Schumacher and Bottas still battling their way there for P12, but Schumacher is not able to pull away then, so kind of frustrating for the Haas team, because remember, Kevin Magnussen, he's all the way down in P21 there, so yeah, bit of frustration for these guys then. But anyways, looking through the order so far, we got Leclerc in first by 4 seconds, then comes Russell, then comes Sainz, then in third place, it's a Ferrari 1-3, you got Verstappen fourth, and again, we're just hanging around, we're just being there, we're getting dragged along by Hamilton, Alonso, and Perez in the battle for 6th, then Norris, Ocon, Albon is still surprisingly in P11, so good job for him. Schumacher, Bottas, Ricciardo, Stroll in this humongous tree. Gasly, Latifi, Tsunoda, Poitier in the next group of cars. Then you got Vettel in P20 as well, our Road to Glory teammate here. Well, not having the greatest of races. Magnussen's down in P21. Joe Guan Yu is down in P22, unfortunately. But let's see if anyone's going to make any moves here. I don't think so. Let's see if Bottas is going to try to get past Schumacher here as they make their way down the main straight here. This is going to be the 10th time here onto lap 10. Then Stroll has got DRS on Ricciardo. Bottas has got DRS on Schumacher. Then as we look just up ahead to see Alonso and Hamilton swapping places. Then as we come back, it's to be 2 by 2 into the first corner. Then Bottas on the inside, Schumacher on the outside, Ricciardo on the outside, Stroll on the inside here. Both Schumacher and Ricciardo managed to retain their respective positions, but both Bottas and Stroll respectively are very, very poised.
So leading our teammate by 25.0 seconds.
It's lap 12 now of this Italian Grand Prix, and the rain is coming soon. It's going to be coming around 10 to 15 minutes now, as Mark said. So
we're expecting rain in about 10 to 15 minutes. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Man, Mark, can you not interrupt me, please? As you can clearly see there, Mark said, okay. Jeez, that scared me as we walked the rear brakes there. But yeah, as I said, Mark said that it's going to be 10 to 15 minutes then until the rain hits. And, you know, 10 to 15 minutes. If we're doing about 120, 125 laps around here, that means it's probably going to come in around 7, 8 laps. 7, 8, 10 laps maybe, who knows. The question is, can we stretch the softs then for that long? We are going to take the risk.
Data for that request.
What do you mean you don't have the data for that request? I'm just asking you to set soft tires. Is that
flag?
And we got a yellow flag up here.
Okay, roger that. Soft tyres at the next pit stop.
Alright then.
Confirmed. We'll receive you at the end of this lap.
Oh, we got a DRS failure as well. Very, very good. Anyways, we are going to pit on the lap then for the soft compounded tires then. Yes, it is a massive risk around this track, but we will see how it works. Again, if that rain does come, this could play really well into our hands because while everyone is on the hard tires, we are on the soft tires, which are the faster tires. Anyways, Leclerc goes onto the hards as well. So I think a lot of the area will be going onto the hards. We'll be probably the only one that's going on softs. And, well, if the rain does not come, then we are kind of screwed, I'm not going to lie, because these mediums did not do very well lasting 12, 13 laps. So a soft tire lasting 14 laps, very, very unlikely. We're going to have to do some extreme tire saving in the end as we watch some battles around the track. Then looking up ahead, we got Russell and Sainz there in a 1-2 right now because they're still waiting to pit. Then Ocon is in fourth, Norris is in third, as you can see here. Tsunoda and Latifi fighting away from P7, P8. They are going to be pitting on the next lap there, and we got Poitier and Vettel fighting away for, well, what is right now P10, or sorry, P11, but will eventually be, I think, net P19 or something like that. You can see Sainz just getting carried along by Russell there as they make their way through Ascari then for the 13th time of asking this Grand Prix. And Sainz, is he going to be trying to make the move? I don't think he's going to be trying to do. I think he's just going to be trying to stick behind here. Or maybe is he going to go for a move? They are going to go for a move up the inside. That's probably not the smartest idea, considering the fact that... Wait. What? Okay. I don't know why they slowed down for a moment. Maybe they were... Yeah, what was that about? It's like it was like a slow-mo and then they just sped up. Whatever. Anyways, that's going to cost them some time. Norris into the pits. Ocon into the pits. There's Charles Leclerc then. For Russell, it is hard tire, medium tires off, hard tires on for Russell. for Sainz. Oh my goodness, I cannot speak again. Sainz is the same thing. Schumacher comes into the midst. You got this huge train of cars here as Verstappen got held up by Latifi and Tsunoda there as we make our way out of the final corner. Then Poitier and Vettel are into the pits as well, and we are just slowly warming up our tires at the softs. Warm up pretty rapidly, so that's some good news here as we can see some others making their way into the pits. Out comes Ocon then into the race then, and comes Schumacher and the others as, oh geez, we got a big lock up there from Lewis Hamilton, and then Lando Norris in P7, Alonso's in P8, so Norris is actually gaining a position here, and he can potentially gain 2 here with the overcut as Norris gets up into P6 then, so the overcut working for the British drivers here as Norris is up to P6, Hamilton's down in P7, Ocon's down in 9th, Alonso is in 8th, then Valtteri Bottas is down in 15th. You can see there, even with the broken rear ring, the broken quote-unquote rear ring, we are the fastest man on track, although that is to be expected considering the fact that we have fresh soft tires, you know, straight out of the box, so let's see how that goes. Anyways, Albon and Magnussen battling for the 10th spot here, so they are battling for the singular point here as they make their way down the main straight. Then Albon's got the DRS. It's going to be side by side, the drag race down the main straight. Then into the first corner we go. Albon on the outside, Magnussen on the inside. Turns to the outside though for this next corner. That's still going to be side by side for these guys though. But Magnussen just about gets ahead there as Ricciardo and Schumacher are battling for P12. Then you got Bottas, Stroll, and Gasly fighting away then for P14. Gasly actually gaining a couple positions there in a good amount of time. So good job from the AlphaTauri team. Anyways, then looking back as Albon gets back ahead of Magnussen up into P10 then as we look on to see us. We are catching Max Verstappen, again, to be expected considering the fact that we have soft tires then. And we are now watching to see Russell and Charles Leclerc going side by side. This is for the lead in the race here. And we are just watching this with a bucket of popcorn here. As, by the way, Sergio Perez DNF from this race then. So that's the reason why there were the yellow flags before we made our pit stop then. So Verstappen flying the lone flag up here as Magnussen and Albon swap places again there. Gasly defending then from Stroll. Bottas tries to make it 2 overtakes in 1 move, but he has to settle for just getting past Stroll. Although Stroll gets right back at him then as we watch us try to get past then, or just actually stay with Max Verstappen and Russell here. We do manage to get the DRS as you can see with the 2 lights at the end of our wheel then as we make our way into the left-hander here, into the Ascari chicane, and so far looking pretty good at the moment. Let's see how we crack on for the rest of this race then. Just trying to make sure that we are knowing where we are. Sorry for the little pause there. If you're wondering when I was just trying to compose myself there. Anyways, lap 16 onto lap 17 and of this race there we are catching Verstappen somehow. We're in a car here that is slower than the Red Bull. We're gonna make the move stick then potentially up the inside there. We'll catch back to that in just a second there as Norris and Alonso are going side by side. Russell and Sainz are tussling away then for second place. Actually, sorry, it was Sainz that we were dealing with compared to with Russell, not Leclerc. Leclerc has walked away from this race. He's 10 seconds up the road. So this is Russell and Sainz. As Russell walks up there. We nearly get caught up in the mess. We're having to now defend from Max Verstappen there potentially into the right-hander we go. But with the superior grip that we have of these soft tires are still working pretty well. But we still got 10 laps to go, so that's a lot of time then until we can get to the end. I don't really see a heck of a lot of clouds at the moment, so is the rain really coming? Who knows, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, Russell and Sainz are going side by side. Sainz locks up though. He goes deep into the corner. We somehow managed to get through here. Now, all of a sudden, the tables have turned. Sainz is in P4, Verstappen's in P5. We are in P3. We're behind Russell now. We're going to be the one attacking him into Parabolica here, although we're not going to make the move just yet. Then into the right-hander we go. Sainz and Verstappen going wheel to wheel, then nearly banging tires there. I don't know what happened there. Russell backed out too much. Sainz locked up there. I think we're just able to sneak through the middle there as we make our way down the main straight. Then lap 18 of lap 27 here. And it's going to be quite a tight tussle in between us. And lap 19 you can see Verstappen is pressurizing us then into Parabolica. Then we do somehow manage to stay ahead so far. You can see there are slightly more clouds gathering around the circuit, but really, again, no threat of rain for the time being. There, Verstappen, though, is hungry, and he is trying to fight back. We're going to squeeze him to the inside here. Is he going to try to make a move on Russell as well? You can see the speed that he's gaining here. He locks up a little bit there. Round the outside we go. It turns to the inside then for this next corner. We managed to squeeze him out, and we do somehow manage to keep this P3 for now. We still have the fastest lap somehow, so
Like
very surprised about that.
We're expecting it in around 5 minutes. 5 minutes till the rain. Dries
So
definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Come on, Mark. You gotta learn to be quiet here. But yeah, Mark says it's about 5 minutes until rain, and again, that's about 3-4 laps, and these soft tires are already starting to. I can already start to feel the wear ever so slightly. We are clinging onto the DRS then of George Russell just about here, and that's really the only thing that's actually been keeping us somewhat okay then during this race. Lap 21 then, and you can see Sainz and Verstappen still battling away there as we are still clinging onto the DRS then of George Russell. This is helping us a lot because the more these guys squabble, the more we can pull away and the more we can build ourselves a gap just in case the rain decides not to come then. Norris and Hamilton then going at each other for P6 of this race here. Norris on the inside, Hamilton on the outside. Hamilton though does get to drive out of that corner then, and Alonso and Ocon are waiting to snap at their heels then. Albon and Magnussen again still scrapping away then for P10, and Schumacher is actually dragging a bunch of these guys into the fight then as Stroll locked up. They're trying to fight off Valtteri Bottas there, as you can maybe see from a couple frames back that Hamilton, he's in P6, Norris is in P7, and although this is a tight tussle and they're 9 seconds behind us though, so who knows what's going to happen. There are more clouds gathering in the sky, as you can see. It's a lot more overcast then, so the rain is definitely coming, but the question is, will come in time then before the end of the race, to the point where we will have to change potential tires. Who knows then? Norris tries to make the move around the outside, and he does make it work in that beautiful movement, and we have to move all the way then to lap 25 before we see any more action. We have fallen out of DRS range, as we have really been just trying to keep these tires intact and having to do some extreme tire saving, and essentially what that has done is just essentially allowed Sainz and Verstappen to sort of catch up to us. Norris is still 10 seconds behind us then, but with the way we are going around the circuit, it's not going to be fun. The rear left tire, by the way, is absolutely shot to pieces. It's like over 70% worn compared to the others, and I'm starting to regret going on the soft tires because I think we should have gone on the hard tires, considering the fact there is essentially no rain right now. It is very overcast, don't get me wrong, but there's no rain falling at the moment. Aggressively defending them from Carlos Sainz as Max Verstappen tries to get in the action. As you can clearly see, there is a bit of tussling there, and the rain is starting now to fall then onto the track, then somehow managing to stay ahead of these guys. Now Norris though is only about 9 seconds away though. Will Verstappen try to get past Sainz here? Are they going to be fighting into the next corner? No, they will not. Sainz just about holds him up then for now, but this is the part where we struggle the most, because we need to make sure that these tires last through this corner. At least we do have a straight line speed to hold off these guys, and with the power of 0-0 wings here, Sainz tries to go on the outside, but we just don't manage to hold him off. Sainz goes up the inside. That's not gonna work. He goes way too deep. There's a bit of contact made then with him then, as we now make our way down the main straight then. Verstappen's into the pits. Verstappen is into the pits. He must have had some damage then from that contact with Sainz. We managed to get the DRS. We're gonna fly past then Carlos Sainz back up into P3 of this race for now. Lap 26, then Sainz tries to go around the outside. We're gonna go back down the inside and just about squeeze him off for now, but all the squabbling has now allowed Norris to get only 7.5 seconds away there, as we have to try and make sure that Sainz does not go. This is going to be a side-by-side through the Curva Grande there. A bit of contact made there as oh my gosh. Sainz, what are you doing? Sainz loses his front wing there, so there's a bit of too much contact in fact, as we make our way out of the De La Rocha chicane there. Sainz, he has no front wing though. He's essentially just limping around, and he's dragging along Hamilton as well. Then we're going to let Sainz by, because again, he has that front wing damage, and I think even on lap 26 onto lap 27 with that major front wing damage, I think he'll still pin. But if he doesn't, then we'll just have to attack it with some sheer amount of speed. You can see the amount of tire saving that was in the short shift there, and Norris is 1.5 seconds behind us now as they now make their way down towards the Parabolica chicane. Ocon and Alonso are going to have an Alpine civil war here as they go side by side into that right-hander. We'll see what happens if both sides come into the pit. I think he has that. You can see the speed difference that Norris has with those hard tires compared to us on those extremely worn soft tires. We're going to squeeze Norris all the way to the inside, pretty much putting him almost onto the quote-unquote grass. And We're going to go back down the inside, though, into this corner, make a bit of contact there. Norris tries to keep it going there. On the inside we go. And now this is what Ocon and Alonso to join the fight. As Hamilton is going to try to go. We're going to squeeze him just like we did to Sainz then. We just managed to close off the door there. There's a bit more contact there as Hamilton nearly loses the backhand, trying to keep it around the outside out of Curva Grande there as they now make their way into the Della Roggia chicane. And for the last time here, Leclerc and Russell are both so far up ahead in the order. As you can see, Leclerc is already pretty much at Parabolica. As into the right-hander we go, then we are going to squeeze Hamilton now, and Norris is on his front wing. That was just purely contact between the AI there as Norris steams his way up the inside. As Charles Leclerc, though, meanwhile, is going to win here in Italy. The Tifosi is going to go absolutely nuts with that impressive win there. And meanwhile, we are still scrapping away then for P3 of this race. Hamilton gets through up to P4. Norris is down to P6. Ocon's up to P5. Alonso's in P7 here. They're going to have one more run then down this back straight then as Ocon tries to get past here. Lewis Hamilton then into the final corner. Ocon tries to go around the outside as well. It's going to be 2x2 into the last corner. Hamilton tries to sneak it up the inside. Can we hold them up? I think we're just going to be better. Look at that left rear tire. 93% across the line. Somehow holding them off then. Holy. That is our second podium, and that could not have come at a better time. Wow. That was way too close. It somehow worked, but we cut it very fine.
There it is then, victory in the Italian Grand Prix. A historic race and an achievement they can be immensely proud of. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit, familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again.
So, congratulations then to Charles Leclerc for winning the Italian Grand Prix. Like I said, the Tifosi is going to be extremely satisfied about that as they beat their arch rivals Red Bull and Mercedes. But yeah, like I said, that was some crazy intense last there. Somehow managing to hold on to that podium spot, and that's going to be huge because remember, Haas did not score any points this race, so we come straight back at them with 16 points. Yes, 16, because we also got that fastest lap as well, so that's going to be extremely helpful for us this race then. And I cannot believe it. That was, that could have easily gone the wrong way there with that tire choice.
This result has had.
But yeah, Leclerc wins, Russell second, Hamilton fourth, Ocon fifth, Alonso sixth, Norris did end up in seventh. We're 10th in the driver's seat, and you can see the title, the race is now closing down. We are just 10 now points behind Haas, and AlphaTauri are, well, 27 points behind us then, so as long as we have this good run of races, we could be going against Haas then, and this could be a pretty decent,
be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Down to the wire. Pocher only finishing P18 unfortunately, but he wasn't that far though from P9 there. They were actually pretty spread out then, so it's alright then. Good job, Pocher. You did what you could. Anyways, and that is enough for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this episode, definitely be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Then I will see you guys in the next episode then for the Singapore Grand Prix, and hopefully that episode will come out a little bit sooner than the gap between the Dutch and the Italian Grand Prix. Thank you all for watching. See you guys next time.